Welcome to The Experience, live with Russ and Scott. Join us every Wednesday at 7 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Eastern on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. Learn more about the Experience community at our website, local.theexperience.video, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. The Experience is brought to you each week by these great sponsors. Copper Rock Real Estate. Commercial and residential real estate in the Mid-Willamette Valley. CopperRockRealty.com. Make 2025 your best year ever. Set and track your goals with the Independent Planner. Designed for entrepreneurs by an entrepreneur. Supplement your digital calendar. Independent-planner.com. Authors Joan Williams and Karen Pascal. Now available on Amazon. Your Gut and You. Proper gut biome can enhance your body's immune system while improving mental health and combating obesity. And now let's get on with the show.
Ta-da! Here we go. We made it. Welcome everybody to the Experience Live with Russ and Scott. A few little glitches this morning, but all is good. We are here and switched links this morning. So hopefully all of you that were going to watch noticed that the link was switched. And we're going to make sure and get that information in the comments.
So share.
Yes, share it out. Let everybody know what's going on. So yeah, quick changes, but that's all good. That's all good. Hey, this is the Experience Live with Russ and Scott. We're here every Wednesday, 7 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time and 9 a.m. Texas Standard Time every week. We love to have you come. We love to have you share. We love to have you tag your friends. Let them know what's going on. That's always a blessing to us. And Scott, how in the world are you doing?
You know, it's funny because our guest today, Dr. Geoffrey Webster, he's just north of me in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, so just about an hour and a half away. He was having technical difficulties and had to change machines and then getting ready to set up this broadcast. Little technical things. You know, it is the imperfections that make life interesting.
There you go. It is for sure. But we are here. We persist. We make it. And, you know, we just want to tell you that you can go to local.theexperience.video and find out more about us, Scott and I, about our shows, about the Experience Live with Russ and Scott here every Wednesday, about the Experience Local on Mondays. We also do the Experience Backstage before this on Instagram only at 6:30 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time every Wednesday. And Scott has the Waco Experience happening there in Waco, Texas. So you never know what great information you will find. You also find information about our different shows, and that includes our celebration. Yes, 200 is coming. In fact, 200 is next week. Woohoo! So please join us next week for our 200th episode. It's going to be so amazing, right, Scott?
Yeah, I'm still waiting in the mail for my party hat to show up, though. Maybe I need to hit Dollar Tree. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Ever finds those. I don't know where she finds them, but it's amazing.
She did a great job,
there you go.
Yeah.
So anyway, go ahead.
You know, it's we're celebrating 1 year this month with the Experience Local. We're celebrating 200 episodes here with the Experience on Wednesday. You've got 500 episodes of Marketing with Russ coming up. In fact, that is mañana.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yes. That's good. Very exciting. So we've got a lot of things going on. It's a celebration month. In fact, I think that every show that we have has some milestone this month. So March is definitely the month of startups for sure.
Well, and, you know, it was the 15th of the month of March here 5 years ago that a lot of people woke up and were told by those entities out there that their business was non-essential. And I couldn't get a haircut for months.
Yeah, it was crazy what happened. Yeah. I remember it so well.
You know, and I had said that when we got into that, we were fortunate we had started the Global Tea Break, which is this Friday, by the way, the Global Tea Break. So go to globalteabreak.com and people can register for free international networking. And we started that just before the pandemic. But, I was saying that it would take us 5 years to recover from what happened that summer. And fortunately, I think we got our feet under us much sooner than that, really about 3.5, 4 years or so, to kind of stabilize again. And I'm glad we're not using things like unprecedented and the new normal. Those were terms that were used much too much, as well as you're on mute.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I'm telling you, it is been a crazy month over the last few years. But you know what? Today we're blessed because guess what? We have an amazing guest, Dr. Geoffrey Webster.
Doctor.
Sorry, I got to
It's
say that
doctor,
correctly.
by the way.
Yeah, doctor. And and we're going to bring him in here because, it's time to get things rolling and have that great conversation that we love to have with our amazing guests. So let's get him in here. Hey, Geoffrey.
Hey, how are you all doing?
We are so good, and we're so glad to have you today. How's your morning going?
Morning's going great now that we're all connected, but my wife would say, enjoy those welcome interruptions because they do bring about good things.
Absolutely.
And before we move forward, I want to congratulate you guys on episode 200 and 500. That is monumental, and it's a blessing to be here with you guys today.
Well, we're glad you're here, and I know you're at a stand-up desk, which, by the way, is very good because they say sitting is the new smoking. So congratulations on breaking the habit there. We all support and encourage you.
There you go. Well, hey, Geoffrey, let everybody know, who is Dr. Geoffrey Webster and what in the world are you up to?
Got it. So Dr. Geoffrey Webster is recognized by businesses as a business growth specialist, as well as a published author. The things that I work on address operational excellence, process improvement, capacity, profitability, and revenue growth. By the way, you guys talked about the impact of COVID. I have a book that I published about that time, and now I'm in the middle of revisions. So any business owner that is seasoned or even startup that can respond to your message at the bottom that shows my email address or however you connected with me here, I would love to hear from you. Ping me. Love to get your direct feedback on some strategies that I have that help all small businesses across any industry.
It's interesting because the pandemic impacted a lot. Well, it impacted every business, right? This was, as they say, it was a global pandemic. There was no one that was not touched by this in some degree, some more than others. But with every disruption comes opportunity. And so we've been sharing in the Global Tea Break that AI is actually a bigger disruption than the pandemic. It's just not coming in this big wave. It's just kind of this rapidly rising tide. So let's talk about some of these disruptions that you're seeing and what kind of opportunities do they present?
Got it. So since you spoke to artificial intelligence, I will start there. One of the things that I found is folks not having the capacity to deal with surges in their business when it comes to seasonality, the holidays, the big spike around Christmas time or around special promotions that are going on, Mother's Day, back to school, and then you have the misconception that, oh wow, AI is going to replace people. When reality is, what folks have done is they've taken a process that they have and built the technology around it to allow the worker that's already in place to be able to handle more smoother, more effectively, defect-free, and in a lot of cases, even faster. So it's a better situation for the employee than what it was before. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I love that. That's a great way to think of it.
The other thing that I see from a low to no cost, just giving an example of one, we so often as businesses sell a solution or service or product, and we focus on just that item alone. But think about McDonald's. When you go into McDonald's or some other fast food place, they do an automatic thing. You order something and then they say, hey, you can supersize the fries or the drink and that's an upsell, right? We need to be
absolutely
thinking about that more. And it doesn't cost you anything to do that based on somebody already being there and interested. Another impact is if somebody says, hey, I don't want that particular meal, but I'm interested in it, then again, these restaurants do things like downsell. Well, downsell, like here's the kids' meal version of this, and it's at this cost. So the same thing is true for us as businesses. What are the things that we can do when we're sharing that service or solution or product that somebody's interested in? How is it we help them in upselling or downselling? So you asked for a couple of impacts. I addressed AI and I gave one example of that concept. Does that answer the question?
I love it.
Yeah, what I love about all that you're talking about is the fact that when you're already working with people, there's so many things that I have found. Scott calls it leaning into your network. People you're already connected with, people that you're already either doing business with or that you're really close with already. And those people are going to most often be your best resource that are already that gold mine sitting there for you. So I love the analogy of the upsize. Would you like to supersize that fries? Would you like fries with that burger? Would you like a Coke with that? I mean, the things that people miss out in their business that are so simple. And I've learned that over the years that people want this service. Hey, you know what? If we do this little bit of extra, we can help you here. Most people that are already moving that direction are going to say, that sounds like a great idea, or at least entertain the idea. How do you help people through that process? Because a lot of people just can't see that.
You help people through the process by simply just asking the question. Seriously, think about it. Just ask the question. They're there. You say, hey, this goes along with that as a natural transition. Would you like to take advantage of that now or pursue it later? And they go, oh, I didn't think of that. That's how we really miss out on a lot. We don't ask. But I do want to touch on your point of tapping into the network that we're already in. Russ, that's the reason why you had me on the show today. I was introduced to you via somebody else and we chatted, and now you're introducing me. And as we go forward, I'm going to introduce other folks to you and Russ, and that's how things will continue to go. So meeting people that you currently know and referrals, it's just simple things. And
well, let me jump in there too on that referral, because I love that, because your best resource of other people too, besides the people themselves, is the good words that people put out there. And I love people that connect me with amazing people like you, Geoffrey. I mean, I am just so blessed with an amazing community that's sending me people all the time. I naturally love to connect and build a community, but I've got all these people sending me other amazing people that I don't know. And so, I mean, that is really such a gold mine right there, isn't it? The good words of others.
yes. The good words of others really make a difference. Somebody taking the time to share your name at the moments that you're not there, say those positive things about you, to open the door, and all the other things that can go about somebody saying Russ and Scott are invaluable and incredible. It goes a long way. And it's not always immediate, but they remember and it comes back to you.
Yeah, for sure.
And one of the questions, you talk about just asking the question. And one of the things, and I'll ask this of you, but you want to find out, who do people solve problems for, right? What kind of clients are they looking for? So when you're at that networking event and someone says, oh, well, I wash windows, right? That's my window washing business. And that's great. But if they only do residential and I don't know that, and I'm like, oh yeah, here's all these high-rise buildings that are clamoring for this. And they're like, yeah, wrong person, right? Then everyone gets disappointed. The people I referred them disappointed, the person who does the business. So Dr. Geoffrey, tell us, what kind of businesses do you solve problems for? Who should we refer to you?
Any small business less than 5 million in revenue that is looking to improve their overall performance operationally. Usually the folks that chat with me are a business owner or somebody in the C-suite responsible for operations or finance.
Yeah. You know, I think that there's so often so much right at people's fingertips that they need somebody like you to enlighten them because they're not seeing it. You know, we all have our blind spots, right? We all have our blind spots, and we're not seeing the things that are maybe right there, the resources that are right at our fingertips. And, you know, I think a lot of times one of the issues is people in the C-suite, Geoffrey, are not connected to what's actually happening in their business. They may know the numbers, they may know the purpose of their business and all these things, but they're not connected to their employees, especially if they've grown to the size where they're not really communicating and connecting. Where do you find that's a real advantage, taking advantage of those resources within your own company?
Great question. What I found when I've sat down with leaders and business owners is getting them to really understand high level how things flow through their business, you know, from the time that the inquiry comes in and to the time the particular service or product is delivered. And that has been a huge eye opener for them because most of them have never done that. And then at that moment, when they look at that and we look at where they have major pain points that we've identified, we place them along that high level type of process. And based on that, a bunch of ahas occur, but then they don't know the next step of what to do. And where I come in is determine some options for them, present those options for them. And then we actually go out on the floor and talk with folks at various levels. I'm not talking about middle managers and actually the people who are doing the work day to day. And there's a myriad of ahas that are there, as well as a myriad of treasurable information that allows us to be able to say, this is what we need to go tackle first. And so we prioritize against those things, utilize those people or develop them further, and then implement some solutions. And one last thing I would say is once it's implemented, they own it. They have to realize that they own it. They being the person on the floor as well as the leaders versus, hey, Geoffrey, this worked, but now you're gone. It didn't work. Well, it didn't work because you didn't continue to do the maintenance and the control plan as I had left.
You know, I was just thinking back to Turn the Ship Around, which is you're familiar with that book?
Give me the information because I don't want to assume that
I'm just trying to remember the author's name is escaping me for a moment, but he was a captain on a submarine.
Okay.
And so basically he's just talking about that on a sub, you know, the skipper, the captain, everything goes through the captain, right? The captain's making every decision, which, as you know, is a hugely inefficient process, right? And so when he came on, he really changed the naval culture on board his boat by pushing decisions down to the lowest possible level and empowering those people. And I was thinking, when I was a kid, my dad took over a cable company, and he sent some guys out to dig a trench and put a cable in. And he goes out there. They're gone for like 3 hours. They've dug about 3 feet of the trench, and they're standing there because one of the guys broke his shovel.
Oh.
And he said, well, how come you didn't go get another shovel? And he was like, well, I didn't know if I was authorized. Right. So, you know, let's talk about how these business owners actually implement empowering their employees to make decisions to improve the efficiency and stop people from just standing around.
Yeah. So I'm going to use a biblical example to compare to what I see happening in real life. Moses was making all the decisions, and his father-in-law saw that and saw how it was wearing on him. He was up all day, couldn't get with everyone. And he suggested to him for the things that were less severe, put that down to the next level and let that person manage 10,000 or whatever the number was. And then underneath that person is one that does 1,000, one that does 100, and then one that does 10. And that way, only the things that are most urgent, that really need your particular attention, come to you. Same thing applies in the business models when it comes to solving the problems. Frankly, a bunch of the CEOs and owners, they don't know how to solve the problem. They've worked the processes and they're very talented and bright people, but their business has grown and it doesn't run exactly the same. And so they really need to have that comfort in delegating and defining what goes where and to whom and why. And after they can't do it, the next level and the next level. I'll give you a real live example. I worked for a firm, I don't want to put them on the spot, but it was a huge global financial firm. And we found out that trades would come in from a broker and it was taking several days, but the person making the trade thought the trade was being made that day. Well, guess what? It was taking up to 7 days because two people had to sign for it. Listen to the titles of these two people, the COO and the chief sales officer. Chief sales officer is always traveling, and the COO is booked until 6 or 7 p.m. at night every day. So by the time people would get stuff from him and find out where the sales guy was going to be, the sales exec, send it to him, have him sign it, and the sales guy's got to sign a document and then send it back to you. Really? So we established a decision-making tree where anything that was below a certain dollar figure, like 10,000, a person at the clerk level could immediately do. The next level was 100,000 for the director, 500,000 for the senior VP. And then under those extreme situations where it was greater than $1 million or whatever the number is, then you would go to those two. And notice that the number of days to process a trade went from 7 days to 43 minutes.
You know, we love it. Yeah. It was, Jethro is Moses' father-in-law, the first business consultant, right?
There you go.
And, I was just thinking when I got out of college, I went to work for this bank and I was making, I think they hired me at $5 an hour, right? This was back in the day. But I got promoted to a new role, and the minimum salary for that new role was $5.15. Okay. And so by their own policies in HR, I had to be given the raise to $5.15, the minimum for that job. But I had only been working for the company for 3 months. And so that pay raise, then the percentage it exceeded their policy of how much you can give a person a raise, right? And so it had to go to the board of directors to be approved. By the way, that bank went out of business and got purchased by Security Pacific. And I'm like, if you can't live within your own policies and apply a little common sense, you deserve to go bankrupt.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, I want to jump in here and tell you, Geoffrey, I love the biblical example. And I love that whole concept because the companies you go to, that when you go to them with whatever it is, like, for example, Macy's with your return policy or Nordstrom's with your return policy, you walk in, they just immediately take care of it. They don't give you any guff. They don't have any issues. They just take care of it. They return it. They don't look at it like you're a criminal and you tried to do something and return it. They just take it. They have certain authority to do things. Or restaurants where a waiter or a waitress can say, I am so sorry for the time it took to get your dinner here. You get a free dinner next time, and all this stuff. Those kind of things leave you thinking, what an amazing organization this is. Yes, they had a little problem today, but they made it so good. And so that ends up improving your business by, just great amounts, as opposed to people scratching their head like what Scott's talking about, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So do you have other examples within that whole thing before we wrap up here? We're getting close to wrap up time, but other examples within the structure of business that people are able to make things easier for their customers, thus improve their business?
It's interesting you mentioned the return policy. There's a bunch of businesses today, in order for you to get credit to your account, you've got to send it back and ship it yourself and pay for it. Then you've got to wait for them to receive it and acknowledge they got it. So you better make sure you got tracking on it. Then when they receive it and say they got it and they understand why you don't want it, there's also a return fee to put it back on the restocking fee or whatever it's called. It has so many names now. Sometimes there's 5 different fees where that one restocking fee is broken into 5 different names. The point that I wanted to make here is those companies where I've experienced that, ask me how many times I've gone back to buy something from them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I've gone back to none of them.
Walmart did the same thing. They did with Walmart.com. So you could buy stuff online, but you couldn't return it to the local store.
Yeah.
Which is like perfect, right? I mean, they have all of the logistics right in there. They've got the customer service. And yet they irritated a bunch of folks.
Well, and Geoffrey, compare that to Amazon. Amazon, you order stuff and immediately you can just take it back and the store does all the work for you. They wrap it, ship it, do everything. All you got to do is go back with the little QR code they give you. They credit you immediately. That's why Amazon has done so great with getting people to order, because you can return it so easy.
Another one I like is Best Buy. I mean, folks focus in on other entities and say, man, they've been around for a while. They're the leader of it. Best Buy is doing some incredible stuff. They've got same-day delivery. Not saying Walmart and others don't. But not only do they have same-day delivery, I have it. I don't like something, I can drive down the street and say, hey, I just bought this from you guys a few hours ago. This piece is cracked. They actually said, we don't have a replacement at this particular store, but we have the better model. And instead of saying, do you want to pay the difference? They said, we'll just give you full credit and give you a new receipt for this one. And they actually gave me something that was the better version. So doing more things like that is making me go to Best Buy.
Well, as we wrap up today and you give us your gold nugget and how that you get in touch with you, Geoffrey, I want to tell you that I also had one of those experiences recently at Fred Meyer in our local area where I took back some, I had batteries. Yeah. Kroger store. I had batteries that weren't working and they just didn't question me. They took my word for it. And the gal told me, would you like to get the higher grade battery? We'll give that to you for the same price. We'll just return it for that. I was like, this is amazing. And they don't question me at all. So anyway.
Excellent.
Well, with that, give us your gold nugget of the day, what you want people really to remember from today, and how do they get in touch with you so we can reach out and get more wisdom from Dr. Geoffrey.
So if I was to give a gold nugget, I would say success is through discipline. And the way to reach me is you guys have been doing a streamer at the bottom. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. If you haven't already connected with me, send me a message. You can also come to my website, which is my first name, last name, and then .biz. So geoffreywebster.biz. And look forward to hearing from anyone and helping in any way that I can. And I just want to say thank you again to Russ and Scott. And I want to acknowledge their great accomplishments coming up with the 200 and 500 episodes that they mentioned.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. And all your information amazingly appeared below you on the screen as well. It's all clickable, everybody, in the comments and the show notes. You get to Geoffrey super easy. We make it simple for you. It's great customer service, and you can return the website if you don't like it. So there you go.
Return the unlistened to portion for a full refund.
There you go. There you go. Well, listen, thanks so much, Dr. Geoffrey. Listen, we're going to send you out, say goodbye, send you back to the green room, but hang tight for just a second.
I'm also going to say, Dr. Geoffrey, that we have just scratched the veneer here of conversations with you. And I would like to see if we can get you back here and get a little more in depth and give some folks some practical tips on what you're seeing out there.
Sure.
Ditto. I agree 100%. Okay, well, we'll see you in the green room in just a minute. Thanks so much, Dr. Geoffrey, for joining us.
Thank you.
Wow.
Always
He's
inspiration.
he's an amazing guy. Man, when I got connected with him, I'm like, this guy, he is on it.
Well, he's just about an hour and a half away, so I look forward to finding an opportunity to grab some coffee with Dr. Geoffrey and peer inside of his brain a little bit.
Yeah. Well, my Texas group that I want to visit is growing too. So
Yeah, you gotta get down here. We'll put it on the schedule. We've got the guest room just waiting for you. And
I gotta work
just
on
to
that.
let people know, speaking of the Dallas area, Dallas Fort Worth, Christine and I will be up in the first week of April. We'll be at the Texas Library Association in Dallas, and talking to, I don't know, it's like 6,000 librarians who come to that conference, and we'll be there with Liz Lawless and selling books. So I'm looking forward to that opportunity. We've got, in fact, we've got special stuff just for the students. My book, Networking for Students, and I've got practical tips. These are handouts for the librarians. It's like a big bookmark.
Well, that's great. That's another thing I'd love to be able to get down for. So, well, listen, everybody, we are so thankful that you joined us today. Don't forget, we're here every week on Wednesday, 7 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time and 9 a.m. Texas Standard Time. Also, before this on Wednesdays, 6:30 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time and 8:30 a.m. Texas Standard Time. We're on the Experience Backstage on Instagram only. Please join us there with our good friend, Sri Mahabar, who's also from Texas and Houston area. And she gives great video tips and is just an amazing person that makes Scott and I look good. So we're thankful for that. And with that, Scott, any last words before we get out of here?
Hey, I just want to remind people again, the Global Tea Break on Friday, globalteabreak.com, free international networking. And we're going to be letting everybody share what they sell. How do they make money? And who their best customers are, so we can make intelligent referrals and be the heroes. You know, when someone comes to you and they have a problem that you don't solve, and you match them up to somebody like a Dr. Webster, you get to be the hero, and that's a good place to be.
Absolutely, and I'll be there. So thankful for the Global Tea Break. The globalteabreak.com is in the comments as well. You can click right on that. Don't forget, we're so thankful again for our sponsors, Copper Rock Real Estate, independent planner, and living the holistic lifestyle with Joan Williams and Karen Pascal. Great, great friends. Just want to remind you to frequent those businesses. Also, we are listener supported. You can go and click on the QR code or the link in the comments. We'd love for you to support this. We call it a ministry, but this broadcast where we share amazing people like Geoffrey. Next week, 200 episodes on the Experience Live with Russ and Scott. And, oops, let's get it here. There we go. 500 episodes tomorrow. Click, click, click. We'll get there on Marketing with Russ. Love to see you guys there. And until then, have an amazing week, and we'll see you next week. Bye, everybody. See ya.
Thanks for tuning in to The Experience Live with Russ and Scott. If you enjoyed today's show, please share it with others, post about it on social media, or subscribe on YouTube. See you next time.